Good morning and welcome to the Biznation Breakfast Club with me, Henry Winter. First on to this week's top story. Have you ever bought a product and not had to pay the full amount straight up, i.e. you set up a payment plan to pay it back over a period of time instead? Well, if you haven't, then that probably means you have loads of money. Good for you. But if you, like me, have used payment plans before, then there's a good chance you'll have used Klarna, the Swedish firm which gives consumers the option to buy now, pay later. This type of finance is widely used among the younger generation who, in general, don't have the money to pay for some items up front. So why are we talking about this then? Well, Klarna's announced it's raised another $1 billion, giving the giant a valuation of $31 billion, making it Europe's highest valued tech startup. Klarna itself is a licensed bank and historically made most of its money in the Nordics, but it's expanding rapidly into the US now. Overall, it currently operates in 17 countries with over 250,000 retail partners, and unsurprisingly, it's been a real beneficiary of the pandemic, as more and more of us take our spending online. Now we're moving from buy now, pay later to spend now, tax later. Let's take a look at the UK's budget, unveiled this week by Chancellor Rishi Sunak. Now, one of the headlines from this announcement was that the UK government expects to borrow £355 billion in this financial year, the most since World War II. Over the short term, the government will keep pumping money into the economy with measures to combat the pandemic, such as the furlough scheme, set to continue through to September. However, over the longer term, corporate tax rates on companies' profits will rise from 19% now to 25% in 2023. And taking a step back from the tax and spending numbers, Sunak also announced the introduction of free ports in England. There will be 8 of these which benefit from tax and planning advantages spread across England's regions from Plymouth to Teesside. And Teesside has another reason to celebrate, with the government moving 750 jobs in its Treasury department from London to Darlington. Unsurprisingly, the country's prospects and Sunak's strategy will be driven by what happens with the pandemic. So it's anybody's guess what the situation will be in a few years' time. Now, let's leave England and take a trip to the land of pizza, pasta, incredible history, and nowadays, environmental finance. Italy was in the news this week as its government issued more than €8 billion in green bonds, the biggest first-time offering of its kind for a European country. A bond in its simplest terms is debt or a loan. A borrower can issue a bond to investors in exchange for money. In return, for a simple bond, the borrower will make regular interest payments to the investors and eventually pay back the money as a lump sum. Bonds can be issued by companies or governments. A green bond is unique because the money borrowed must be spent on environmental projects, and the borrower has to tell the investors more about how they're spending the cash. Italy won't pay back the bonds until 2045 and plans to use the money to fund biodiversity, power generation and low-carbon transport. They weren't the first European country to issue green bonds, and they won't be the last, with Spain set to follow later this year, and the UK has announced plans to get involved this week as well, as the world looks to improve its fight against climate change. Now, football may very well be coming home, even if the 11 players on the pitch do everything in their power to avoid this being the case. How come? Well, the UK government is going to provide £2.8 million to England's Football Association to help their bid to host the 2030 World Cup. Why are we mentioning this? Well, not only does it give us a chance to play this, it's coming home, it's coming home, it's coming, football's coming home. But as well as coming with a fabulous soundtrack, hosting the tournament also comes with a number of economic benefits. Host nations usually spend vast sums of money improving development and infrastructure to meet the demands of increased tourism the competition will bring, which will create lots of jobs and hopefully reduce unemployment. It's been estimated that over $40 billion has been spent on the last 5 World Cup competitions. The plans have got football fans across the UK, including myself, very excited, because do you know what happened the last time we hosted the World Cup? We won. Football's coming home, it's coming home, it's coming home. That was back in 1966, which is kind of annoying. It was a long time ago, and we did invent the sport. And finally, Amazon has opened its first physical store in the UK this week. The shop will open in Ealing in London and will sell groceries, pre-made meals, and have a returning counter for online orders. As you can probably imagine, with Amazon though, this isn't going to be your standard UK supermarket. Shoppers will actually enter the store using their own unique QR code, which triggers state-of-the-art cameras coupled with shelf sensors to tally up what you've bought. Technology can also determine when somebody puts an item back on the shelf. How do you pay? Well, you don't have to. In the store, that is. I think it would make it quite difficult for them to make money otherwise. You simply walk out the shop and your credit card will be automatically billed, meaning no more waiting in queues. And I promise you, there is nothing that British people hate more than queuing. Well, that's all we have time for this week here at the Biznation Breakfast Club. If you haven't already signed up to our weekly newsletter, then don't worry, it's dead easy. All you have to do is head over to our website, pop in a few details, including your email, and that's it. You can also find our Spotlight page, where our business guru Jamie Ridley-Smith breaks down the biggest companies and stories from the business world. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.